All right, so I'm trying to figure out if it's better to do the camera facing this way or the other way for this. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. All right, well, you're just gonna have to deal with it then. This is my living room. I know that's kind of messy over here, but like, you know, whose fucking nightstand table isn't messy? Okay. And this is like I set things here up here. I usually have my candle, like I set it on my battery here because it doesn't really slide. And they're like super yummy. Grapefruit. Oh, it smells so good. We got the crystals going on the dashboard. Like, I mean, I have my stuff. This is more or less how I'd have my bedroom set up. This is Bella's bed back here. This is my bed. Extra pillow storage back there. I did have a mattress where you could fold down the back seat and sleep in the back, but it's like you're like 3 inches raised, so you're really close to this, you know, the roof. And I just don't like that, like, at all. I have screens on the windows. They go around the side mirrors here, so there's like no gap. And I have them on all 4 windows and back windows. Here I have one of these, like, it's for a tailgate, but it works great for the side door, so I can like leave the door open and have the screen, you know, because bugs suck. All right. Outside. That's my dog. Of course, I got the Thule. I put this on the front just because it's too fucking hot. And I like shade, you know, and with the airflow underneath it, it keeps the car much cooler. Like, crystal grid. Gotta have crystals. I mean, I love crystals. I don't know about you. I did something different with the umbrella today. Usually I have them on the doors like so. I clip them to the door handle here. And it's got rubber inside so it doesn't harm the paint or anything. And I do that. I usually do that on all 4 windows, but the sun is just hitting one side. I'm kind of parked like northeast. But yeah, shielding your and it's different than just putting a sunshade here's the outside of the screen thing. And here this is what we've been looking at all day. You know, like, what? It's just like, what? I mean, you know, it's just beautiful is what it is. And I've got my, you know what, honestly, I just tied down a blanket because it was really hot yesterday, and this provides more shade, and shade really is the best cooling system I'm going to get out here without, you know, having any electricity. Or got my solar lights out there. And of course, all this stuff, I could pack it up and be gone in less than an hour. Easily. Totally, like, easily, no problem. So got the dog bed. Groceries I keep usually at the back of the car in the shade to keep them cooler. Like, cooler. Yeah, no, that was a pun. Okay, and then dog bed with the toy in it, of course. And yeah, that's my setup for right now. Like, I don't always set up the same things. In the winter, of course, it's different. If it's raining, it's different. If it's really cold, I hang my pashminas on the inside of the windows. I showed that in a previous video. But it really helps insulate the car because I can't run the car heater all the time. What? You want in now? Every time I turn on the video camera, she does this. Oh, excuse me. But, I'm not gonna, you know, run the car heater all the time, and it does get cold. It was just snowing up here probably like 2.5 weeks ago. I mean, full on snowing. I think I put a video of that up too on my YouTube. I think so, yeah. But as you can see, like, down in the city, it's, you know, it's cloudy, crowded, you know, all of that. And I am just not interested. And there are a lot of drawbacks to, you know, living up here like this. I mean, I guess, you know, I don't have a bathroom, I don't have a kitchen. But like, I make things work. I eat really well every day unless I'm fasting. And I exercise. I haven't been exercising lately. I haven't like started my routine back since the weather has been, I mean, it's fucking snowing, you know, less than 3 weeks ago. And then like today it's like 80 something. I think it's over 80 degrees today. So yeah. The weather's been wackadoodle. Totally. But, I don't know if it's going to be like a hot summer or what. I guess we'll find out. Anyhow, I just shared all of this to say, all of that to say, over 5 minutes of fucking recording, to say, I just turned 45 this year. My entire bloodline is dead. Like, all my family, my mom, my dad, my biological dad, you know, the man who was my Lakota Sioux, like, adult woman's, like, spiritual father, he's dead. My best friend Holden, my best friend Margaret, my younger brothers. Did I say that already? I don't remember. Anyway, you know, 2 of my good friends from high school, and let me see, who else? My Uncle James, my great aunt Shirley. That was a rough one when she left this earth, or her body. Well, yeah, her body did anyway. So, and I lost my house. I lost the property that it was given to me that I was inheriting. I had never owned any property like that, you know, so it was a big deal to me. I ended up houseless, not homeless, because I take my home with me wherever I go. It's called my heart. And home is where the dog is, really, like, you know. People say things like, you know, I'm too old or whatever, and I just would like for us to collectively stop doubting ourselves and to quit limiting ourselves, because I know I suffered with limiting beliefs most of my life. Yeah. It's only been in the last, like, year and a half, really, that I've been able to see past all of that and see it for exactly what it is. I mean, not just like the 3D manifestation of it, but like what that spiritual reason is for it. To get free of religious spirits, and because I grew up Christian and everything else, Jesus Christ, I mean, Yahusha is my, some people call him Yeshua, is my ascended master. Like, I love that being. I love that energy. Like, it's the best. And very mystical, like, very cool. I really, really dig it. But, you know, when we say things like, and I'm talking about this because I know it's a hard one, and I know a lot of people struggle with it. We say things like, in the name of Jesus. Well, for a long time, I knew it, like, I knew it instinctively, duh. You know, if you do anything in the name of something else, not your own name, then you're doing it not just in the name of that thing or person or way, but in the ways of that person or thing. You know, so I you know, I suggest, and I've heard this before, but like, you know, I'd like to put it out there, you know, in my own words. When we do something in something or someone's name, you know, we need to act like that person. That's what Christ consciousness is. That's what it is. And I know I've spent a lot of time with Christ. Like, I'm really, like, we're like this, you know, like, I really, really, come on, how can you not love that energy? It's just so amazing. So kind, so loving, so compassionate, so understanding, so... Anyway, and I'm not saying the Christian, I'm not talking about Christians, I'm not talking, because I've suffered with that, a lot of that, and some of it is just straight up delusional. However, and I was delusional too, I get that, I roger that, I get it, and at the same time, I would say that, you know, Christian people tend to understand better because they know what Christ consciousness feels like. They know what the Holy Spirit feels like. Some people only experience it for like a moment or two. I experience it all the time. I didn't know that that was possible. I didn't. Like, I mean, I knew that it was possible, but like, I didn't know that that was like a thing that people actually could do, really. You know, like, I didn't... I mean, I always had more of the Holy Spirit than most people, and I knew that, and it was obvious to me, and people told me to, even as a child, people told me this, and I really wasn't trying, was the thing. I just really love God. Like, I don't even know, like, God makes me happy. I don't know what to say about that. Like, it just does. And not at first. There have been a lot of times in my life when loving God and believing in God felt like hell. And the reason for that was mostly because I wasn't in alignment. I just wasn't. God could not do things for me. He couldn't do all the things he wanted to do for me because I was not in alignment. I can get on the highway and pray and hope and wish all I want and manifest, you know, all the and to get to Disneyland, but unless I'm on the right highway, I'm never going to get there. You see what I mean? So unless you're like at least pointing in the right direction, you know, generally God really can't steer you the way he wants to. He can't give you the things that he wants to give you. And I would also like to say, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Now it just flew out of my head again. Help me remember that, please. Okay, well, many are the tribulations of the righteous, but God deliver him out of them all. And forget the gender and all that. It's just the way it's written. Because that's the way I tend to remember things, is how it actually happened. Anyway. But the other one is, and you know, there are a lot of reasons why bad things happen to good people. Mainly because other people don't do the right thing. Yeah, that's why. It's because we allow each other to suffer. See, one thing, let's see, the other Bible verse was, all things work together for the good of those who love God, period. That's it. Like, that's really simple. And let's see, the other thing was, you know, bad things happen to good people. We allow each other to suffer because God gives us agency, and otherwise known as free will. And when you get to a certain point in ascension, you start to realize that your life, when you give your life over, give not just your life, but your will, I mean, it's a tremendous freedom. And in that, the best freedom of it is you can't do anything wrong. Like, because, I mean, I'm not talking about like morally wrong or ethically wrong, because you don't even have any desire to do that shit. It's really just, it's maybe like intrusive thoughts here and there, but like, yeah, no, that's just some spiritual shit poking, you know, this poking you with a stick kind of thing. And, you know, at best an annoyance. And I think that a lot of people would seriously balk at that, you know, that we allow each other to suffer. But the thing is that's the truth. If it's not somebody directly doing something to you, it's somebody not taking action. This is very important, what I'm saying right now. It's somebody not taking action, and then shitty things happen to you because they didn't take action. It's not because anybody did anything. It's because people did not do anything. Yeah, that's messed up. So, you know, I encourage people to take action and to do the things. Stop, Belle. To do the things they know are right now. Just do it now. Do it now. There's no other time than now. Bella, stop. She does this when I turn on the video camera. Anyway, I've been living up here with my dog, free as a bird. I mean, there's been a lot of shit that I've dealt with. Don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of bullshit. And it's I would say that it's hard if you're not good at preparing yourself. If you're not good at taking care of yourself, it's hard to be up here. Yeah, like really hard. But when you know how to take care of yourself, and you can endure a couple little inconveniences, really, even for a time, I suggest it, because it's a really, really good way to heal. Just being up in nature. Like, I have my phone, of course, but like, you know, there's nobody here. Like, people don't call me. I just like, my phone's always on Do Not Disturb. But like, you know, not that many people call me. I mean, literally, like, everybody in my life is dead. So, you know, and I came up here to heal my broken heart. I did that a while ago. And I just kind of fell in love with the whole process of, you know, learning new things. And like, a lot of people I would probably be likened to like an ascetic in India. Yeah, totally. But it really strengthens your spirit, and it makes the veil just like, it's barely even there. I mean, sometimes it's not there at all, but it's just not, it's not the kind of barrier that I used to experience. I mean, I didn't have such a great barrier, but like, you know, I would experience huge blockages, massive delays, all kinds of stuff. And it, you know, there was an underlying frustration to those things. So, you know, you're never too old and you're never too anything. You're never too poor. I mean, fuck, I've been living off very little, and I mean very little, like less than $1,000 a month. And I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. I'm 2 years, longer than 2 years, actually. A lot longer than 2 years. But, you know, with the exception of like, you know, a break here and there, really, I don't have much, like materially. But I'm super abundant. I always have all the food that I need, all the water that I need. You know, I mean, I either purchase it myself or I go to, what do they call it? Food pantries. And sometimes people help me out, and I'm so fucking grateful for that. Like, those assistances in my life, you know, when I get, you know, you know, extra food, or not extra food, but like I'm able to purchase better food than the food that I would get at the food pantries and things like that. And it's not so like potluck, you know, like I actually can eat what I want to eat, you know, that makes a huge difference. I mean, you know, it's a huge difference. And being able to get Bella the food that she needs, and me being able to buy the supplies that I need to like create this creature comforts. Like wet wipes are fucking golden out here. I have like 4 packs of these right now, like different kinds, and these are the ones I have right here, but these are just like regular baby wipes, no scent. These are scented ones. These ones are nice. These are Trader Joe's. They smell really good. Super good. And then these ones I think I got at the dollar store. They're like cucumber, and these smell really good too. They're kind of like better for the face. But like the other ones, you need your pits, crotch, you know, when you go to number 2. As you can see, I smoke cigarettes, excuse me, but I roll my own. So this is just the container I leave it in because it's easier to roll it out of than the other bag that it comes in. So, I mean, I just, you know, I have my books, you know, because I write a lot, the books that I read as well. And I just do what I fucking want to do. You know, I order some things that I need from Amazon sometimes, either have it sent to a friend's house or one of the Amazon lockers. You know, those are convenient as fuck. Thank you, Amazon. That's a good idea. And, you know, there are certain things that like, you know, I've gotten really good at, and like, you know, also like foreseeing what would be a challenge in any given situation has also become like a skill, a finely honed skill of mine. I know what bothers me. I know what doesn't. And, you know, I plan accordingly, so to speak. And, you know, I also convert the whole car to back. You know, I put everything that you saw outside back in the car, and it's not totally packed like it might seem like that, but it's not. And then I have my back seat to use for the groceries and whatever else I want. I really need to go through the back of my car. But the cargo net gave me a lot more space too, because you can keep stuff. I mean, it's like, it's not space because I have plenty of space. That's not really the thing. It's accessible space, you know, where like I'm not daying. And I have a lot of shit in this car, like a lot of stuff in this car. And I probably have like 30 pounds of crystals. I have all my exercise gear in the back. Like I probably have 30 pounds of hand weights in this car. 2 yoga mats, like, you know, I mean, a lot of water. I don't even know how many pounds of water. I probably got like 8 gallons, 8 times 8, 64 pounds of water. So, yeah, you know, but I find ways to save money. I find ways to get things that I need, or, you know, not trade for them, but, you know, I spend, you know, I'll spend time at the food pantry rather than going, and spending money at the grocery store. I don't get food stamps. So, you know, but, there's a place at the park where I can go get dog food on Thursdays. I rarely go there though, like maybe once every 2 months I go there. I mostly buy Bella's food for her or prepare it. So, I just really encourage people to do that thing that they've been wanting to do. You know, like whatever that is for you, you know, do that thing. You know, you've been wanting to call somebody that, you know, you fell out badly, you know, a while ago, and you haven't called them. Call them. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say, you know what, I just don't want to talk to you, or click, or hang up on you, or like, what the fuck? You've already been through the worst of it. Like, it can only get better. And even if you feel shitty if they reject you again, the point is that then you can move on and just be like, all right, well, I tried. You know, like, you tried. Yeah. So, and been there. And nothing I'm saying isn't something that I haven't done myself many times. So, you know, I'm an expert in grief and what that feels like. And I mean, really horrible, terrible grief. My youngest brother dying, that was harsh. He was 36. And another family member was, you know, involved in it. And I just, you know, and the forgiveness that takes. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, when he died, I felt like last of the Mohicans, you know. I still feel that way. But anyhow, I mean, I still feel that way sometimes. Every once in a while, you know, it hits me that he's gone. You know? But it's not, I mean, but it's not like the, you know, the overpowering emotional wound that it was. It's just not like that. And he's with me all the time. Like, I don't ever really feel his absence anymore. So, you know, about, I don't know, 2 years ago, I started coming up here to heal my wound, my broken heart. I didn't know what else to do. And I just submitted myself to the will of God. And I said, you know what? I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm here. I'm present and accounted for. Fix me up or let me die, you know? And so God fixed me up. That's what God did for me. And my faith in God got me there to the point where I was, you know, ready to surrender. And I knew I could surrender to God without being afraid of anything at all. Because God wouldn't do anything bad to me. And I'm not saying anything bad, but nothing that wasn't for my highest good. God wouldn't do that to me. He wouldn't do anything to me. He, she, it, you know, them, whatever, you know, Yahweh Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, Yahweh, Enki, whatever. Is it Enki or I think Enlil is Satan, isn't it? Or supposed to be. But that's still stuck in duality. You know, God created duality. Yeah, that's a mind fucking, that makes my mind melt. It just melts my brain. Like in a weird way. But God created duality. God says, like, literally, the Bible says, clearly, I created everything, the evil and the good and fucking everything. I created it all. So why are we, you know, when you integrate your shadows, you start to understand quickly that there is no, I'm not saying that there aren't demonic things. And I'm not saying that there isn't actually entities that are really fucking dark. And at the same time, I know that a lot of those entities are so dark because people haven't integrated them into themselves. We're taught this, you know, this is evil and this is good and this is evil. And evil is so evil that if you even talk to it, you know, if you even talk to the evil shit, you're somehow going to get possessed or be evil yourself or like some such thing. I don't know. But I've felt all those things. I know what that feels like. And it's fear. What does the Bible tell us about fear? The Lord does not give the spirit of fear, but of peace, power, and a sound mind. So what are we worrying about again? Because that's not, you know, that, you know, a conscious evil. And I don't mean like evil. I don't mean evil. Evil's the wrong word. Conscious shadow is not a bad thing. It's just not. It's not even bad for humans. When it's integrated and it works, it all works together, that's healthy. When it's toxic and you allow it to melt your brain to the point where you're not using your brain properly anymore, which then usually leads into, your heart getting fucked up is usually what fucks up your head. But you know, it does go the other way sometimes. But anyhow, when we don't integrate our shadows, that is truly like the worst hell, really. Because you never can really reach the high places, you know. I mean, there's this book called High Speed on High Places. I read a couple chapters of it on this YouTube channel, and it's probably one of the best, like, allegorical books, like, allegory for spiritual ascension. It's so good. It's written very simply. Like, if you're, you know, you could actually think it's actually a very simplistic book because of the language that it's written in. And at the same time, that is meant to be that way. Because the way God sets things up for us is simple, so that when we do get afraid, because I don't know about you, but when I get afraid, like really afraid, everything tends to go out the second story window. Everything I know, all my wisdom, like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit. And so that's a huge reason why God set it up for us to be really simple. So that when we are afraid, we don't have a hard time remembering what the fuck it is we're supposed to do and how to do it correctly. So there's, you know, there's an elegant simplicity in God's design. And you know, anybody who's any kind of scientist or, you know, looks at anything with any kind of, you know, any kind of beauty in the world knows that. So, you know, I really, really encourage people to do that thing that you've been wanting to do. You know, if your fucking job blows and it just, I don't mean in a good way, you know, that it just sucks, quit, do something else. Yeah, you might have to go live in your car for a while. Yep, that's totally fucking possible. Is that the worst thing that could ever happen to you? Not even close. Not even close. So, take your chances and do what's best for you, because if we're not our own heroes, who the fuck's gonna save us? I mean, yeah, did Christ die for us and he saved us in that way? That he covered us with his grace? That's really what he did. We got covered with God's grace. That's salvation. That's deliverance. Because there's a way out. There's a way out of the prison planet. There's a way out of the prison planet. You know, it was never meant to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. The earth isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The earth is ending soon. But, like, not the earth, I shouldn't say. But, like, time is ending soon. Not in the ways that we think, though. Not in the ways that we think it is. It'll be different. But there's supposed to be and I just got this download last night, but a massive energy surge headed for the earth. I mean, or maybe it's something we're headed towards. I think it's something we're headed towards. But yeah, we're headed towards it. And it's not I think, that's what they say. And it's beautiful. It's good for all of us. Now, not everybody's going to react or respond. Most people react. Not everybody's going to respond very well. But ultimately, it's for our greatest good. Like, I'm not asking you to trust me, but, like, if you have any faith in God, trust that God has our best interest in mind. True story. And all this bullshit, I mean, people are seeing, like, what is it? P. Diddy fucking finally got busted. Fucking Epstein, you know, all that shit happened with him. I mean, all these different things have been happening. You know, people are starting to see Hollywood for how bad it really has always been. Yeah, always been. Yeah. And the manipulations and deception of the Matrix, and that's really what the Matrix is built on, is deception. Period. End of story. Just deception. That's the greatest power that the Matrix has over all of us. And when you stop allowing yourself to be deceived, because we do allow it. We do allow it. There's always a way to suspend your agreement. An agreement with a lie becomes deception. It remains the other person's lie, or the system of control's lie, or the government's lie, whatever system of control, same thing, or the entity's lie, until we agree to it. When we agree to it, it becomes a kind of a spiritual contract. Whether we agree to it in the 3D, or it doesn't matter where we agree to it. When we agree to lies, they become deceptions. Period. And when we take part in those kinds of contracts, we deny ourselves our own freedom. And we're also abdicating our responsibility to ourselves and to one another to provide freedom. Because, you know, we have literally people going off to war, dying, and getting horribly, you know, if they're not physically injured, they don't come back the same. They just don't. I've had a lot of friends that are vets. I've dated veterans. And they're just never the same. So, especially if they're people with integrity. So, because something about war is just so horrendously spiritually fucked. I mean, I know what it is. I'm not just... Obviously, war is fucked. But, when we abdicate our responsibility to each other, to ourselves and to one another, it really becomes our own deception. Like, we're deceiving ourselves, and self-deception is some of the hardest shit to heal from and to get out from underneath. It's some of the hardest shit I've ever dealt with. Because you think, you know, you're not deceived, and you're so sure you're not deceived, so you're deceiving yourself. I mean, it's a mindfuck, no doubt. But like, again, once again, the Lord does not bring me the spirit of fear, but of peace, power, and a sound mind. Meaning I can think myself through this. I can get through it, even if I can only use my logic right now or tomorrow or whatever it is that I can, you know, and then so I can feel my way through it. You know, it's important that we have that confidence, and that's what God gives us. That's what Christ gives us. Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, whatever that consciousness it is, whatever name you want to put on it, it's the same consciousness that loves us and wants us to do better. It wants us to feel better. It wants us to love ourselves the way that it loves us. Yeah, that's what Christ said. Love each other as I have loved you. So, you know, we all call Christ and God, you know, the great physician, but like, he's also a great magician. I mean, look at our world. Tell me it's not the best magician you've ever seen. Ever. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the shit. And like, if you have a problem with like the amazing awesomeness that's everywhere, even in technology, it's not just in nature. Technology is amazing, and it's a way to bridge the gap between spiritual and physical. It's a bridge between, you know, between this realm and the quantum realm or spiritual realm. Same thing. Like, the people at CERN know this. The astronauts know this. I mean, our veil, to a great degree, is our atmosphere. When you get outside of the atmosphere, there's no veil at all. I would say like very little to any at all. And I've never been to space, but like, that makes sense. That our atmosphere is a barrier, is the veil. You know, it's not just our atmosphere. It's partially our atmosphere, but it's mostly like our interaction with the deception, because our hearts are stargates. So we can project anything into our reality at any time, including the spiritual and quantum realm. However, because we're so interacting with this dense reality, and we're so like deceived in it, you know, the more deceived you are in it, the less you're going to experience, you know, quantum and spiritual things. Like, it's just not really going to happen. So, but there's a lot of magic in life. I remember that was part of my like reason for falling into depression and anxiety, was like, I felt like there was just like, life was really tedious and mundane, and go to school every day and my mom yelling and blah blah blah, and I just couldn't believe that was life. Like, that was so disappointing to me. I remember, like, to the point of despair, where I was just like, ugh. I felt so heavy. Everything was a chore, and I would get annoyed and aggravated easily. And, you know, I mean, even as a child, I was just like, this cannot be my life. So, you know, it was really in God that I found that magic again, and was able to like hold on to enough of it that I could, you know, walk around and not, you know, just sink into the fucking earth, you know, like, that's how heavy I felt. And I know there are other people out there who feel the same way. I know that there are children out there who feel the same way, although children seem to be faring a little bit better, but in other ways they're not faring well at all. you know, and, you know, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, everybody, you know, friends, people are suffering, you know, and I'm not trying to be, you know, like, I've done my duty and then some. And at the same time, like, you know, it's a useful thing to put the message out there. Maybe somebody will see this video. I don't know who will see it exactly. Maybe my subscribers will see it. Maybe they won't see it. Maybe somebody else will see it. I don't know. But I trust Spirit to get the video to whoever it needs to go to. And, you know, it's going to be a full moon, I think. I mean, the energy is going on for like 3 days before and after, but it's really intense. It's been really intense after the eclipse on the 8th of April. And, you know, I'm just really grateful to be up here, to be free, to be safe, to be, you know, to be abundant and secure. I have everything I want right now. Well, not that I want, but everything I need. You know, I've got food, I've got water, I've got my dog, I've got transportation, I've got clothes, I've got, you know, whatever I need, really. I've got it with me. And there's a tremendous amount of confidence that comes out of self-reliance. When you figure something out and you have no idea how you're going to figure it out, but you just figure it out, and then you do that like, you know, a dozen times, and then you start figuring out that you can figure out anything that you need to figure out. And that gives you an amazing amount of confidence. And I mean, I've always been a confident person. However, that's a kind of confidence that just, it's like that kind of like, it's that mastery, self-mastery stuff. It's just so good, and it's so good, and it feels so good, and you feel so much better about yourself that all you want is more. It becomes your fucking drug. You know, you think you're addicted to your phone. Wait till you actually start really feeling good, instead of just getting a shitty dopamine bullshit fix from your phone. You know, that is nothing compared to being in the presence of God. I keep seeing these tweets on Twitter, Twixer, I call it because of the X, Twixer, and it says, name one thing better than sex. And I'm like, well, first of all, good sex is better than sex. And second of all, like being in the presence of the Elohim, the angels, and also being in the presence of God, that's better than anything ever, like ever. And I've had some really good sex, so anyway, you get my drift. You catch what I'm saying. But you know, I've suffered with it all: depression, anxiety, you know, unaliving ideations, I mean, all of it. You know, people pleasing, all kinds of shit. Narcissistic abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Yep, been through it all. Narcissistic abuse, sociopathic abuse, all of it. I've been through it all multiple times. You know, so I just really, like, you know, it wasn't really until I just said, you know what, fuck this. And I had lost everybody anyway, so, you know, what the fuck. I stopped asking myself what I had to lose. And I started asking myself, what do I have to gain? Because I didn't really have any more to lose. And the things that I had to lose were, like, not really important to me anyway. So what did I care about those things anyway? What I really cared about was what I had to gain. So here I am, about 2 years later. A solid year and a half of just dedicated spiritual work. Like, dedicated. You know, a lot of it consists of me sitting on my butt and looking like I'm staring off into space, but it's work all the same. A lot of meditation, a lot of prayer, a lot of reading, and a lot of loving on myself. Treating myself as God would treat me. And it feels really good. So it's just a suggestion. Nobody was asking for my advice, so I'm just suggesting that you go do that thing that you want to do. If we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to do it for us? You know, your mom, your boy, what happens when they're not around? Because shit happens. Believe me, it happens. So, you know, it's a skill that I decided to learn finally, like, in totality, in completeness, at least once in my life. Not in this life, you know? Because I was tired of feeling like shit. I was tired of it. Tired, sick and tired, fucking busted, disgusted, fucking dusty, crusty, fucking all fucking like not, I was never a nasty person. I was never mean. I was never really mean. I mean, I can be mean, but like, I didn't, you know, that's never really been my MO, but like, I felt bad inside, is what I mean. I wasn't happy. I was codependent. I was very unhealed. I had triggers all over the place, and I blamed almost everybody else for them, except like fixing it myself. And getting over the unfairness of like this happened, and like looking at things don't happen to me, really, they happen for me. Yeah, and after you've lost 12 people, like all your closest people too, in less than 6 years, you can imagine what a challenge that must have been for me, for anyone to do. It's so hard to see, like it's really hard, but it is possible. And it's probable that you'll figure it out if you just listen. It's really hard to quiet those inner voices at first. And then it becomes so quiet that you're just like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. So I just encourage people to do that, because we're supposed to encourage one another. Encourage one another, encourage one another, encourage one another. And I just want to encourage you, because I came from nothing. I came from nothing. I grew up poor. Always poor. I mean, we had a pretty good quality of life, but like we grew up poor. We didn't have much, and never really had much in my life. And yet still, I found ways to just refuse to believe any of that. You know, to refuse what other people thought about me, felt about me. It didn't matter, because I know how God feels about me, and I'm actually a really good person. So I know a lot of people struggle with the same kind of thing. And I just want to be an encouragement out there, you know, be a cheerleader. If you haven't got any friends, you got a friend in me. You know, and you can count on me to do the right thing, and to never become a sellout, and to never become a hypocrite. And if I am a hypocrite, fuck, I admit it. You know, that's a real problem I have with hypocrites. It's not that they're hypocrites, because everybody's a hypocrite at some point or other, you know, to some extent or other. However, the people who won't admit it, the people who think that they're just fucking holier than thou, it hurts. It's painful, man. Especially if those are people that you love and you're, you know, trying to emulate. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but for a long time, I didn't even know that self-love wasn't a toxic thing, because the people I thought were like loving on themselves were really just toxic, narcissistic people with very narcissistic traits. Maybe they weren't narcissistic, like, you know, excuse me, straight up had the, you know, narcissistic personality disorder, but they acted like it. And those, you know, narcissistic tendencies can be super toxic. And they're not just toxic for us, they're toxic for everyone around us. You know, a couple years ago, I was not sure if I wanted to live. I wasn't sure if I was going to live through what I was going through. And I was being attacked on all sides. I mean, all sides, all the time. It didn't stop. It was relentless. And my one prayer to God wasn't, why me, or anything like that. It was, I know you have a plan. I just don't know what it is. Can you please help me? Tell me why. Tell me why this is happening. And I got an answer. And that gave me hope to keep going. 4, 3, 2, 1 on the clock when I first started saying that. So keep going. Keep going. Keep trucking. Keep doing it. Keep fighting the good fight. It's worth it. It totally doesn't feel like it most of the time, but you get to a point where it does feel worth it, and you know that it's worth it, and you stop doubting that. So I wish you all the best. I really, really do. Even the people who have done me terribly, I really wish you the best, because I know how miserable you must be to do the things that you've done to me. Like, you've got to be a rotten inside, and you know it is the worst part. You know, you're aware. So, you know, I really even have love for my enemies, and that's been one of the hardest things to do. Anyhow, love, blessings, compassion to everyone, literally. Take care of one another. Take care of yourselves.